Good evening, everybody. I'm Jay from Aussie Backyard Harvest, doing a bit of an update on the yard. Had quite a mild day for weather, so just popping down to have a look at the plants. Got these tomatoes that were attacked by some bugs. We're gonna put them into the... One thing I've noticed is that the pumpkin plant isn't growing out over the concrete. I put one bale of straw down and I was going to add a second bale before I got over to the edge, and I haven't, but I'm guessing the temperature on the concrete has stopped the plant from growing, but every time it gets to the edge of the straw it turns around and heads back in, so that's nice to know. I wonder if it would work on a smaller scale. I wonder if along the edge of a pathway or something I could just put a concrete paver or a tile or something like that down and stop the pumpkin plant from growing across to a spot that I didn't want it. The pumpkin plant is a bit crazy. It's growing up and over. I keep pulling it out of the lemon tree. It's now growing up under the top of the fence. There's a little pumpkin here. The flower's dead now, so I don't know if it has been, pollinated or not. But we'll keep an eye on that one, and we'll have a look around for some of the others over the time. These plants are all sort of blending together at the moment. Welcome to the live, thanks for being here. Hello. So the big leaves here are pumpkin. The variety is Australian Blue. Then over here, barely noticed the change. These small leaves here are sweet potato. They're in a pot, which is being covered up by those leaves. Then in behind the sweet potato is lemongrass, which is growing really nicely. The lemongrass is also in a pot. That one's in a pot. So when it keeps growing, it'll get caught up on the edge of the pot. We'll be able to harvest it and it won't be able to take over the whole garden. One thing I have noticed is the pumpkin plant has stopped growing at the edge of the straw. I put a bale of straw down for this pumpkin to grow on top of some old concrete. I never got around to buying a second bale and putting over here, but I've noticed that the pumpkin plant just naturally turns once it reaches the concrete. I'm guessing it's something to do with the temperature. That's an interesting observation. We'll continue down the garden. We'll have a bit of a look at what's going on. The pumpkin plant's going right up and over, up to the top of the fence. I need to make sure it doesn't go over. We'll just start directing that back down, somewhere down here, as it goes a bit longer. So we've got chamomile at the front there. I haven't had that before, so we'll see what that's like to grow. There's some parsley in there, some lemons. That lemon there is pretty close. Still a little bit of light green on it. I'd say the end of the week for that one. That one there's still got a fair bit more green to go. So end of the week I'd say for another lemon. This is the corn, our last corn plants got eaten by rats, so we've replanted. That's actually some of the old corn plants there. so I'll have to work out to stop them getting eaten. But I think there's about 20 corn plants in that area there. I'd say it's about 1 meter square. We have some beetroot across the front, which is getting closer to harvest. Wow, sorry about this camera, it's going a bit crazy. The plant in the terracotta pot there is orange. We've got one little seedless orange growing. It's only a first year graft, so if any more leaves, any more fruit does grow on it, I will be cutting it off. I just want to grow one to make sure that I like the flavor, and then letting the energy go into growing the plant, not growing the fruit for this first year. Every day I come out and pull these weeds. These are called knotgrass. They grow a knot underground that then puts out a thin runner and then grows the plant. So pulling them out like this isn't actually getting rid of them, but it does use up their energy, and if you do it every day, they eventually do die. Just a bit of a pain to do it continuously. And this section here is actually grass growing up from the grass we're standing on. So a couple of minutes every day stops a huge job once off. This one's a zucchini plant. It's growing really nicely, but there's not a great deal going on in the way of fruit. There's a couple there that hopefully are getting pollinated. Bok choy in the front, and then some basil and the tomato plant. It's on a lean and lower trellis. I've removed most of the leaves except for the new growth. Excuse me. The tomatoes are a nice size. Just starting to get some colour. I'll actually keep, there's more leaves I want to trim off this plant, so we will keep an eye on that. Horsefly around my legs. As we move in, we have cucumber up on the back. Cucumber here, some little ones growing on the front. One up there on the roof. I'm going to have to go around the other side to get that one out. That one there is quite large actually. Let me grab some cutters and we'll cut that one off. The size of the cucumbers off this plant, they're really nice. We've done a bit of a taste test and this seemed to be the size that we like to eat compared to this one here. Still got a bit to grow. They grow extremely fast. There's actually another one there. So we've got one up the top, one on the side. There's a couple more in there that I've seen over the last couple of days. And it's also growing out behind this tomato plant. The onions have basically finished growing, so we're just going to pull them out. We planted them really late in the season, so they were never going to get to full size, but we have been eating them. Leafy greens that have all gone to flower, we'll save the seeds from those. And a capsicum plant just here. We'll go through, we've still got more greens. This one is coriander. It's gone to seed as well. We will be collecting the seeds from these guys once they're ready. And we have another tomato plant. We're picking tomatoes a little bit early because the pests have been a problem on this garden. But we've been picking them as long as they're about half red. That one's actually had a problem with something, so that one can go to the compost. And I think this one's the same. Yeah. There's some more that are getting colour, but they're not halfway there yet. So 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. the compost later. We'll continue along, some more basil. Different types of capsicum. That one is a long sweet yellow. The purple king bean. I don't know how long they're going to grow, so I'm actually thinking I'm going to grow a few of these beans that are hanging out to size to be able to keep some seeds. I feel like if I keep, say, 20 on this side, 20 on this side, let them grow to full size, collect the seeds from them, but I will continue to pick ones that are a better size to eat, like that one. Or if we go in here, actually that one there's, I'd say, too big to eat. But wow, there's lots. They just can't keep up with the plant. The amount of beans we've been getting off this is crazy. Again, probably too big to eat. I should probably just leave them on the plant, although I do want to keep picking them because I would like to eat some more. So we'll see. There's a nice real little one there. That one's probably a little bit too small to eat. Well, too small to pick normally, but I want to eat one now, so that's one I'm having as a snack. They're really sweet when they're this small. Okay. This end of the garden has Egyptian spinach, which will grow into a bit of a shrub. And then this one is ginger. We got this from the shopping centre. We soaked it for 24 hours, completely submerged to get rid of any growth inhibitors. Then soaked it half covered for another 24 hours to rehydrate it. Planted it really shallow, with just about a centimetre of dirt covering it, then a nice thick layer of mulch. It took about 4 weeks to come up, but now that it's coming up, it's growing extremely quickly. We've now got our first leaf opened up on it. I don't know if there's anything that I can do with ginger plant except for obviously the rhizomes or the ginger underground. I have to have a bit of a look and see if we can do anything with the leaves or stems. Past that one is a spaghetti squash, which I've got growing up the trellis here. There is a bunch of flowers, but no fruit on there yet. And then passion fruit. That's going to turn into a new little garden. I just need to get some stuff down there. I'll get to probably pack some cardboard in, kill the grass, put some mulch on it, and we're coming into summer now, so I'd say maybe autumn I'll plant something out in there. But give it a few months for the grass to die off. Wooden trellis here is for the passion fruit. That's the size of the passion fruit this year. Last year it grew and covered the entirety of this garden. But seeing we will be growing straight through winter now, we won't let the plant have that much room. So we'll get less passion fruit, but a lot more harvest through the rest of the garden. This box up on top is a beehive. There's no bees in it. It's called a nucleus hive. It's the hive that our first swarm, I caught that in, the European honeybees. Yeah, European honeybees, I caught them in that box. They've outgrown it and they've moved up to a full-size brood box. So I thought I'd set that one up there. Hopefully we can trap another swarm of bees and they'll come to us. I did see a bee coming and going, having a look at it this morning. So that's what that box is up there for. We'll continue down. It's quite late here at the moment. The sun's well and truly gone over the horizon. The moon's up in the sky. So I think the bees will probably already have gone to bed, but I have two different types. I have European honeybees, which are around the corner, and Australian native stingless bees, but they definitely have gone. That's wax and propolis around the outside. What's that? Propolis now. The European honeybees, you know, it's probably late enough that they've gone to bed as well. are up there. I can see that there's none flying around, so they have also gone in for the night. Alright, that's a quick walkthrough of the garden. Let me have a look at some comments. Thank you all for everybody for being here. I appreciate you all. You're the best YouTuber ever. Thank you. Hello everyone. Hello Colleen, welcome. Red pepper looks like a squash vine. Is that when we were looking at the cucumber? Colleen, wave, thank you. Love the garden, thank you very much. What is the sound of one hand clapping? What kind of bee makes milk? A booby, haha. Peter, hi. I'm glad everybody's tuned in. Having a bit of a walk through the garden, and we will see what's growing, what we're harvesting, what we've already picked, what we're leaving behind. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the likes. The channel's called Aussie Backyard Harvest. We are a channel that generally focuses on our garden and what we can harvest from the backyard. No, Peter, I'm not. Nothing for me. We will continue. Yeah, so down this end, pumpkin, nothing's ready to pick from that one. Sweet potato won't be ready until winter. Lemongrass over the back, we've been picking that a few times a week. We're quite enjoying lemongrass chicken at the moment. Lemons we've been picking heaps from. We've just planted some chamomile, so we'll do that for some teas and things like that later. Corn, I'd say another, say midsummer for that. Orange is basically just growing here, making sure I like the flavour before we move it out into its own dedicated area. Some beetroot and a mandarin tree at the back. Squash, tomato, bok choy, some basil. Some herbs, cucumber plant, leafy greens. I need to be more careful. I keep leaving my cutters all over the place. So these strawberry plants here are sort of hardening to our weather. Realistically, we're setting them up to overwinter for next year's harvest. There was a couple of little fruit off it, which I liked the flavor of. So realistically, it takes a couple of years for a type of plant to become acclimatized to the climate. After a few years, they always give a better harvest, better taste, I think. This is mint. If you're going to grow mint, I would definitely put it into a pot. If you don't and put it straight into the garden, it will take over. It sends underground runners quite a long distance, and then little shoots like this pop up, and then it turns into a full plant like this. It will take over any room that you give it. So I'd always plant it into a garden. I'd always plant it into a pot. If I'm taking cuttings off this, where lots of times I'll just take cutting to keep it small and bushy through the hot weather, I'll get rid of any of the leaves that are not looking great. I make sure those sections don't go into the garden. Lots of times I don't even actually put them into the compost. I don't want to accidentally get some mint into the garden, because it's happened once and it took me months and months to get rid of it. This tomato plant has heaps of fruit. We have been picking fruit off it now for the last couple of weeks, or last week or so. We're getting a couple each day. The pests are also loving it, so we're trying to pick them a little bit earlier than when I'd like to, but getting caught up in some other plants, some coriander there. So this is about what they look like when I'm picking them. Still a bit of green on top. I think that's just a blemish. I don't think that's a pest in there. Letting them ripen on the bench, because if I let them go too far, like this one, they get eaten out. The sun here has definitely gone. The camera is picking up a lot better light than I can see. We've got some seedlings that we'll be planting, I'd say next week. So they've gone through some pretty hot weather over the last few days. But this end of the garden's pretty full. This section here is where the onions were, so we're planting something new there for the summer. But once we get down to about here, it's actually quite empty. There is some more onions in the middle that you can't see there, but if we go further, the further we go, the more empty you get. So we've got lots of seedlings germinated and they're getting bigger in their pot. They'll be going out into the garden soon. We are going to be planting all year round. We don't have a season that we can't grow in. The hardest season to grow here would probably be summer. It gets too hot. Our winters are very mild. Definitely spring would be the best for growing if we can get things in mid to late winter. Get the plants nice and big before they start fruiting in spring, which we waited a bit long this season. But if you've been with us since the start, we've sort of just got back into gardening. So this season is all about finding the plants that I like and propagating, collecting seeds, taking slips, pups, however you want to remake the plants for next season when we can get things into the ground on time, get some nice big fruit, get some nice big harvests. Through summer, the garden will slow down on variety, but we will up the volume of specific plants that can handle the heat. So we still have a few more goes of corn, maybe 2, before it gets too cold to grow corn, although we can grow it through winter, but ideally it goes through the summer. Yeah, that's basically who we are. We're a small channel in southeast Queensland, Australia, called Aussie Backyard Harvest. Our channel focuses on harvesting food from our backyard, but we also do lives on any of the decent storms that we get. We have bees, 2 different types, European honeybees and Australian native stingless bees. Chickens will be coming in the early new year. We have composting worms that we breed for fishing. They're actually bred indoors. It's too hot here to have them outside. We will be removing all of the grass from our backyard, putting in heaps more gardens, a nice entertainment area, and some pathways to get around. So if you wanted to see any of those things, hit the subscribe button as you go through. Alright guys, it's getting quite dark here at the moment. It's actually a little bit too dark to go in and show you guys anything close up. Unless anyone wants to have a chat, I will probably let you guys go. I appreciate everybody that's been here, all the comments, the likes, and hopefully the subscriptions. The channel's Aussie Backyard Harvest. My name's Jay. Excuse the dogs. And this is my backyard. I hope you guys have a great day.